In a previous video, we went over the BARC Speeder and established that it was an incredible speeder bike, far superior to its imperial successor, the 74Z. But those two weren't the only single-pilot hovercraft of that era. During the Clone Wars, when Republic clone troopers sailed across land on their BARC Speeder bikes, battle droids of the Confederacy of Independent Systems were zooming about on the droid army counterpart, the single trooper aerial platform. In today's video, we're continuing our series on Star Wars vehicles by comparing the famous BARC Speeder bike with the Separatist STAP to see which was the better single trooper transport vehicle of the Clone Wars.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
First off, for those of you who haven't seen our previous video, let's recap what we know about the Republic's signature speeder bike. The BARC Speeder, short for Biker Advanced Recon Commando Speeder, was developed by the Aratech Repulsor Company for the Grand Army of the Republic at the start of the Clone Wars. As the name implies, it was initially designed for advanced reconnaissance and piloted by ARC troopers, but quickly became a staple in every clone trooper division due to its excellent performance. In the second year of the war, a civilian model called the Rapid Response Police Unit was adapted for use by the Coruscant Security Force that guarded the Republic's capital world. As far as size went, it was quite respectable. Measuring 4.6 meters, or 15 feet in length, 1.29 meters, or about 4 feet wide, and 1.53 meters, or 5 feet tall, it was designed to be long and slender while remaining sturdy enough to carry the driver and their equipment. A front-mounted turbo engine and repulsors powered the hover bike, allowing it to reach up to a whopping 520 kilometers per hour, or as fast as a commercial airplane in our world, though most pilots couldn't handle it at its top speed. Two steering vanes allowed the pilot to control the vehicle like they would a handlebar motorcycle. Although the Speeder was designed for a solitary pilot, some models came with side struts to which stretchers or sidecars could be attached. Initially, the BARC Speeder was intended for advanced recon, as mentioned above, but once the entire clone trooper army adopted it, the clones found many uses for such a versatile speeder bike. Unlike other Republic vehicles such as the TX-130, the BARC Speeder could fly at high altitudes, meaning it was well suited to escorting gunships ferrying important people. Its ability to reach high speeds made it a perfect patrol speeder, and coupled with its ability to reach high altitudes, also made it perfectly suited for swift cavalry charges. In that final role, a squad of trained pilots would charge into battle on their speeders and take out enemy droids in a quick but decisive skirmish. Given the roles it filled, the BARC Speeder's top priority was speed. When on recon or patrol, its speed allowed for a quick relay of information. When part of a cavalry strike, its speed was used to take the enemy by surprise. To keep the speeder as light as possible, Aratech gave it no additional armor save for the sturdy metal of its hull. It carried no shield generators, but its speed made it a difficult target, and it could often take out an enemy before they knew what hit them. That doesn't mean the speeder bike was defenseless though. Two light blaster cannons were mounted to the underside of the front, and two light anti-personnel lasers were fitted laterally on the vehicle's rear. These four cannons combined were more than enough for the BARC to deal with its usual opponents, Vulture droids and B-1 series battle droids mounted on STAPs. Finally, its repulsor lift technology allowed the hoverbike to traverse any kind of terrain. Throughout the Clone Wars, squads of BARC bikers were deployed on many different planets, from the Misas of Geonosis to the dense forests of Kashyyyk. All in all, the BARC Speeder bike was a versatile vehicle that became a staple in the Republic Army. Although it may not have excelled at anything in particular, it was a very well designed and well-rounded bike that proved itself reliable on more than one occasion. The same, alas, could not be said for its Separatist counterpart. Coming up against the BARC Speeder bike during the Clone Wars was the STAP, short for Single Trooper Aerial Platform, manufactured by the Bactoid Armor Workshop. The initial design, which was inspired by civilian airhooks, was conceived and used by the Trade Federation before the Confederacy of Independent Systems modified it and began using the vehicle in their own droid army. Although it was quite tall, standing at a height of 2.9 meters or about 10 feet, Baktoid prioritized keeping the vehicle slim and lightweight, which made integrating an engine impossible. Instead, the craft was powered by drive turbines fueled by energy cells set into the vehicle. Even the B-1 series battle droid, which exclusively piloted this vehicle, was exceptionally light and slender for a droid. With such a powerful propulsion system and nothing to weigh it down, the STAP could reach breakneck speeds of up to 400 km per hour, or as fast as a modern Bugatti. The B-1 battle droid pilot, whose droid brain was famous for its underwhelming processing power, was connected to an orbital droid control ship, which allowed the droid to maneuver the craft successfully at such high speeds. This gave the STAP a slight edge, as many biological pilots couldn't perform such rapid maneuvers. Typically, the STAP was utilized as a recon and patrol vehicle, and thanks to its speed, it performed in these roles well, much like the BARC Speeder bike. It was light and agile, and thanks to its connection to the droid control ship in orbit, it could feed a continuous stream of information back to High Command. Even though it wasn't a combat vehicle, it was sometimes tasked with supporting a larger, heavy-hitting craft during battle. Occasionally, they were sent into battle to distract and harry enemy forces. On rare occasions, they were sent to take care of enemy stragglers after a separatist victory. For these purposes, they didn't need particularly heavy firepower. The only weapons the STAP brought to bear were two forward-facing blaster cannons. This repulsor craft had no shielding whatsoever. It weighed only as much as its skeleton, but that made it incredibly fragile. Both the B-1 series battle droid pilot and the Speeder itself were, as seen many times throughout the prequel trilogy, one shot away from crumpling into scrap metal. So, how did the STAP compare to its Republic counterpart? To begin with, the BARC Speeder cost anywhere between 8,300 and 9,500 credits depending on the sources, while the STAP cost just 2,500. Just like in our world, you get what you pay for, and it's clear the STAP was designed as a cheap, disposable speeder, as with its battle droid pilot. But it wasn't just the vehicle itself. The STAP's battle droid pilot was also manufactured to be cheap and easily replaceable. When there were billions of them, it was easy to see them as replaceable compared to the millions of clone troopers who were all far more valuable as individuals than their droid adversaries. The STAP was also able to instantly transmit information back to High Command. After that, it didn't matter if the vehicle was destroyed. If anything, its destruction was not only acceptable, but also expected on many occasions when they were deployed, especially during recon missions in enemy territory or in the middle of battle to harry enemy forces. By design, they weren't expected to survive. Some STAP deployments could even be considered suicide missions, which wasn't an unusual separatist strategy. On the other hand, BARC Speeders were far sturdier. They may have not had shield generators, but their frame had weight and power behind it, and their higher speed and maneuverability helped them survive tight situations. Even when it came to firepower, the STAP had only half of what the BARC boasted. It was also incapable of ferrying cargo. Standing against the Republic Speeder, it was outclassed in every way. Finally, BARC Speeder bikes may have been used primarily by clone troopers, but they weren't limited to one pilot in the same way the STAPs were. Jedi, droids, and birth-born regular soldiers were all known to have piloted a BARC Speeder, with notable mentions including Ayla Secura, Anakin Skywalker, and Ahsoka Tano. On the other hand, the light frame of the STAP vehicle meant that pretty much only B-1 series battle droids were compatible as pilots. Anything heavier and the craft wouldn't perform as intended. For all the above reasons, we declare the BARC Speeder the superior of the two Clone Wars era speeders. It did everything the STAP could do, but better, and it was built to survive a hell of a lot more than the separatist droid Segway. But let's not be too harsh on the STAP. When your own creators see you as low-cost, replaceable cannon fodder, there's very little to say other than, uh-oh. There you have it. Which of the two hovercraft would you want to see reimagined as a modern-day vehicle? Free to let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.